Give me 1 second. There we go. All right. So welcome everyone to part two of our AI Copilot workshop. We're so excited to be doing this. And as I said last time, we're doing this as a team. So maybe we are your CSMs. If not, you can still show us love. um, but it's great to see everyone. So for today's webinar, we're going to be doing, just like last time, our introductions and housekeeping, where we have two new polls, different questions. I'm going to review the Copilot ROI just in case people missed it, but even if not, it's always good to reiterate. Then we're going to jump in to the demo of the RMM side with Copilot. We have some really cool capabilities to show you. And then, as always, we finish off with a survey because we do it for you guys. Your feedback is very important. So we want to make sure you're getting what you need. So just some housekeeping. Once again, this will be recorded and will be shared with all of you at the end of the webinar. Last time, we also shared with you our Copilot playbook, which we'll share again this time in case there are new people. We invite you to type questions in the Q&A. You'll see there's a chat and a Q&A. If you do your questions in the chat, it might be hard to respond to that just because the chat might make it go away. So please try to keep the questions in Q&A. But we love a lively chat. Let us know what you think. Please be engaged. And then, and like I said, at the end, we're going to do a short survey, very quick. Okay, so the team today, I have with me, you see on screen, I have Yoni and I have Daniel, and they are going to be presenting part of the RMM features. And then on the Q&A, we have the lovely Veronica. Show her some love in the chat. She's doing the behind the scenes magic for us, and she's going to do her best to get to all the questions. If there's anything that we don't get to you tonight, we will make sure to follow up as always. All right. So jumping in, as a reminder, today we're going to be talking about the Copilot. We do have another AI tool that is our Autopilot. I like to make the distinction because a lot of times we get questions about Autopilot, which is great, or there's a bit confusion on which tool is right for whom. So just to put it out there that the Autopilot can take actions, agentic actions on its own for your end users, and it could resolve most tickets on its own or escalate it to the technician. But the Copilot, which we're talking about, is really a technician's partner, your Copilot. It will never take an action for you unless you tell it to, or click a button to take an action. You're always in control. Together, they're a huge powerhouse where Autopilot could start trying to resolve the tickets. If it can't, then it could pass it to the technician, who then with Copilot is even more turbocharged. So just to point that out there. For either one, feel free to push the button at the top, request a demo. And if you don't have them yet, somebody will get back to you. And then also if you just, like I said, need a training, we're always happy to do that. Cool. So once again, I like to point out that we developed this product with a partnership through Microsoft. So that is very important because we were not just a random, company, random tech, random, whatever you want to say, product engineer, right? That created an AI agent. Our Copilot and Autopilot, we have a direct connection, to OpenAI. So it is such a powerful tool, and I don't want that to be forgotten. When we launched, we made sure to say that, and I think over time people take for granted how powerful it is and why. So this really is a powerful partnership that we have. And just as a reminder, this is very important, right? Like I said, the Autopilot side can resolve tickets. We will never say, at least today, that Copilot is resolving the ticket, right? It's still you guys as the experts, as the technicians. You're just using it as a really, really great tool. So the two main benefits are that it's going to save you guys time. And that's in two ways, right? So for those who may remember from part one, it's going to save you time with each feature. So, if you make a script, right, it's going to save you time and create it really, really fast. But it's not just that. If you are troubleshooting a device, you can go ahead. We already are connected through the agent. So you didn't have to feed your, autopilot, copilot, any of that, the information. It has it already, or the chat GPT or anything. So it's saving you a lot of time there as well, where you don't have to constantly keep it up to date. And then there's the other side of it, right? Even if you copied, let's say, a ticket into ChatGPT or Gemini or something else, and then you went ahead and troubleshoot with it and you get a resolution, you still have to go back to your tool to take action. So with Copilot, from start to finish, you get a summary of the ticket or you look into the device, you troubleshoot, and then from there, you could take what we call those agentic actions. So that is very powerful, time saving, and keeps the whole workflow in the same place. I'm going to go ahead and pause for a second. I'm going to launch our first poll of the night. Let's go ahead and do this one. You guys should see it on your screen. So we're asking, what slows resolution time the most in your environment? And let's see as the votes are coming in. If you guys see that on your screen, there we go. Now I'm seeing the votes. So we're talking about what slows resolution time the most in your environment. Now, it could be the manual information gathering, knowledge gaps, back and forth communication, escalations, or documentation, creating the internal documentation. We're just interested. We know it's usually all of the above, but I like to see what is the most. Okay. It looks like the clear winner right now is the back and forth communication. Okay. And then in second place was the manual information gathering. Now, that's really interesting because, at least with the manual information gathering, your Copilot could be like a knowledge base for you. You could just ask it, right? Not only how to resolve the ticket or the issue with the device, but you could go ahead and just ask it questions on a Terra or, depending how much you've built the knowledge base or connected it, you could go ahead and just ask questions for work that you needed to know. You could ask it if Copilot could do something and how. So it's really a great tool. We do that sometimes when we want to look into something or test it out. That's really, really great. Back and forth communication, of course, right? We see that all the time. So with our ticketing, you could go ahead, we have the internal notes and you could tag someone, they get an alert about it. But then, even with the Copilot, you're going to see a really cool new tool that we released, a new feature. Yoni's actually going to be talking about it, so I don't want to ruin it. But there's a great way where you could have a connection maybe to a shared to-do board or something else to help with communication. Okay, so let's close that one. And I'm going to open the second one. So this one is, how confident are you that every technician follows the same troubleshooting standard, right? That's very important. You want to know that whether you're there or not, the same standards are being followed with troubleshooting, that they're getting the correct answers, right? So this is something that's very important. So the answers are either very consistent, that they're following, the same troubleshooting standard, mostly consistent, depends on the tech, or not consistent at all. So let's just give that a few more seconds. We love that people are filling these out. Okay. So it looks like the winner is not consistent at all, which is very interesting, and is very telling of the need for, obviously then second place would depends on the tech, right? But those kind of go together. And it shows how Copilot really could standardize that for you and make sure, that like I said, the information it's getting from the knowledge base So you guys are building your knowledge base. It's very easy. So you're making sure that they're all following the same protocols, troubleshooting standards. They're getting the correct answers, and faster. So it's not just getting the right information, but that they're going to resolve things faster. Great. Thank you. Thank you all for participating in that. Okay. So the next thing I like to point out again is just as a reminder from part one is the difference in the chat, right? So when you go to the bottom right of your screen, if anyone has it open, has the Atera platform open, and you go ahead and launch Copilot, you will usually start in what we call the universal chat, right? There's two differences, or there's a few differences, but there's the universal and then the others. So there's either a specific ticket chat, a specific device chat, or a specific alert chat. And it's very important to look where you are because you're going to ask different questions based on where you are. So the universal chat, you might be asking more higher level, right? Look at what we've done this whole last week and give me insights, right? The ticket problems that we're seeing consistently. What device patching failures are we seeing? Whereas when you're in a specific device chat or a specific ticket, you're going to ask questions for that specific ticket and device. So it might be more, what is a script that will resolve this issue for this device, right? How have we resolved this ticket in the past? So like we're talking about with that troubleshooting standard that you want to make sure they're following. So the key way to see is right here, you could see it's blank. So it's not connected to anything specific. So it's universal. These look very similar. So right here, you could see this is actually connected to a specific device. And then on the right is where it's connected to a ticket. You could see the number and then the name of that ticket. Okay, so it's just important to point out just little differences. Okay, so before we're about to jump into the demo, I just want to take a look at the chat to see if there's anything there, any questions maybe. Okay, I think we're doing good so far. Great. So with that, I am going to hand it over to Yoni, who is going to tell you guys about some really cool features. Some of these, again, we spoke a bit about on part one, but we wanted to show more examples since they're fairly new. So for those who missed part one, don't worry. You're getting the same information right now. All right, Yoni.
Fantastic. Thank you, Andrew. Just unshare your screen. I'm going to share mine. Yep. Perfect. Perfect. All right. I think that should be coming in 3, 2, 1.
Launch.
Nice. All right. So, hey there, everyone. Excited to be here and show you a demo of a little bit about one of our most recent and newest releases that has to do with Copilot, which is called the MCP integrations. Before I jump into that, I want to just remind those who have Copilot that you will see on the admin sidebar over here, the AI Center right above admin. So I'm going to close that out for now. And before I jump into the MCP integration, just the reminder, like Andrew mentioned, this was mentioned last week as well, but just a reminder that you have a tool here called Actionable Insights that is really something that we hear that not a lot of people necessarily know that it is there. And besides the things that you can actively do with Copilot, there's also these insights that it's constantly giving you. There's only a little bit here because this is a demo environment, but I would assume that if you go to yours, you'll have more things that it's giving you insights, and essentially it's telling you, repetitive things that are coming up and giving you options to create an article based off of repetitive tickets or a script based off of repetitive actions that are coming up that could use that script that could be created. And you can see what it's offering you. You can open it. It gives you a description. It tells you what it's based on. And then you could either decide, okay, I'll put this for later. You could review the article. It'll take you to another page to review the article. And you can really play around with it as well. When you press review article, it's not just going to make the article without your approval, which is also the best thing about Copilot is also it's not doing anything without you giving it that approval, that stamp of okay, this is good. You can edit the article as well if you want to add words or take away words or make it look different. And then once you create it, you'll have that article easy peasy, really
Mhm.
quick. That was just one thing I wanted to show when it comes to the actionable insights. The insight types right now are scripts and articles, and those are really cool things based off of real things that are happening in your
Right.
Atera environment.
And it's also cool because even if you know, you either snooze them or you create what they suggest and you clear this whole screen, it's going to generate more over time because, again, like Yoni said, it's based on your work that you're doing. So it's always working in the background.
Absolutely. I'm going to jump into the MCP integrations, which is really exciting, something new that was really just recently released. This was gone over last week in part one, but we really wanted to show it again for part two, either for those that weren't in part one, or even if you were, I'm going to demo a different integration than last week. So last week, my colleague Daniela demoed the Monday MCP integration. I'm going to show something similar, but the integration with Notion. But just so you know, before I do that, MCP integrations here is like the default that we have here that you can install the integration, but really any software that has an MCP server can be added here to MCP integration. So really so many different options, and I'm sure you guys have ideas already running through your head. When it comes to the Notion, so I did connected and authorized, and it's essentially per technician, right? So even if you're a team of 5, it's each one needs to do the connection because it'll then give permissions for the integration based off of what you are an admin or an owner of in the other side, right? Let's say Notion or Monday, you can then make changes and do the integration that I'll show if you have those admin rights, whatever you have ownership of in any Monday boards or
Mhm.
Notion that I'll show today. So just as a couple examples that I wanted to show, so I opened up the Copilot here, and let's try a first example. So I prepared this in advance, but I wrote in Notion, can you add a task called, oh, actually, sorry, I meant to jump over here. I want to do it here because it can show you side by side what we have, what I'm gonna write on the Atera side on the left, and then we're gonna see it show up there. So in Notion, can you add a task called demo Atera Notion integration to Yoni's task list? And I told it where it's located just so that it's as accurate as possible. And while it's doing that, just to here Notion, everybody's Notion is going to look different, but these are basically the things that I have access to right now. The Copilot is thinking and telling me what it's going to do, and
If has anybody, I asked in the
there it
chat, you might have
is.
missed.
Yeah.
Ah, okay. I was going to ask if
Oh,
anybody has tried this yet after seeing from part one. Sorry, Yoni.
okay, cool. No, that's great. It actually worked faster than I expected, so it's getting better daily. But you can see that Andrew he was asking, but see, done. I've added demo Atera Notion integration to Yoni's task list. Here it is. The key thing here is like usually you're not going to have like the two tabs here side by side. We want you to be able to know that you're working in Atera all day long with all the tasks that you're doing with all in one with your RMM to ticket in, and we want you to be able to say, "Oh, Copilot, here, just add this here, so I can forget about it. I don't need to think about going to the other tab, making a mark there, right?" So just another example of this integration that I want to. So now I'm going to tell it, okay, now that you've added that, can you add to that note that the start date is February 18th and assign Andrew as the owner, right? So we're going to watch that happen here. And then while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to type
Oh,
up one more thing that I think is really exciting. It's on it. It happening. It doesn't have a start date field. Oh, that's because I meant to write due date. But it did assign it to Andrew. Okay, that's fine. So I can just tell owner instead Andrew. That's fine. One other thing I wanted to test also Actually, I'm going to start over. I'm going to go to home. I'm going to start over and say, please summarize my 5 most recent open tickets and put them in Notion under the page called Unresolved Tickets, which is located here. So I created a page here in Notion, and we're going to test this out as well. Did anybody answer the question if anybody's tried it since last week?
Oh, someone said they didn't know what MCPs are. Okay, cool. Well, at least from my point of view, I assume that if I'm learning something, you guys already know. So here it was the opposite. Okay.
Great. So Copilot is now identifying the 5 most recent open tickets, and it located that page, and it's going to add it. It could say summary. So we're going to go to unresolved tickets, and voila, there it goes. It added the
Wow.
latest 5 open tickets and a summary of each one and where they're at.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And it's also, if a, if you and your team are on, sharing a Notion list or whatever it is, right? It's a great way to also close a gap in communication where while you're working on something, you could add it to that list, whatever it is. We're excited to hear how you guys are using this or you would. I think it's unlocking a lot of doors here, right? You don't have to set up a whole API. And the fact that you don't have to leave your workflow in a Terra to go take these actions, I think is great.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Agreed. Really exciting.
That's really cool. This unresolved tickets list is a new one. I didn't know about that. That's a cool use case,
Yeah,
Yoni.
I know. I thought about it today and didn't want to tell you about Andrew. I want Andrew to be surprised today as well.
I love it.
All right.
Cool. Thank you, Yoni.
Absolutely. I'm going to
All
start
right.
sharing the screen now.
So awesome. Let's see if there's any other questions about that or anything we've spoken about before we get into specifically the RMM side. It looks like everyone is enjoying. Okay. Awesome.
Take it away,
Thank you,
Daniel.
Yoni. So Daniel now is going to, this is not anything we discussed on part one. Part one, we focused on the ticketing. So now Daniel's here to show us some cool capabilities on the RMM side.
Absolutely. Thank you, Yoni. Thank you, Andrew. And hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening. So, can you actually see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. So as you can see here, we are directly on the devices page. So if I open my Copilot, you can see what Andrew was mentioning. We are here in the universal Copilot. So what I could do is just ask it something such as show all devices currently reporting performance issues such high CPU, low memory, or disk bottlenecks. It's not attached to a specific device. So it's going to check everything, and it's actually showing you what it does, checking your environment now for devices. And you can see here that it is responding, so you know that it is working for you. And here is our answer. Amazing. So it actually flagged one device. Now, if I actually enter one of the devices, I know this is not one that is flagged. You can see here, switch to chat about. So here I have the name of my device, and now Copilot is actually attached to that device. So the context is going to be the context of that device. So let's say, for the sake of the example, that this device has an issue, or maybe one of my end user opened a ticket complaining that, I don't know, it's slow or something. I know because this is my job, that I know that it requires me as a first step to maybe, I don't know, delete 10 files. So I can actually just tell it here, delete 10 files. Hit enter. As you can see again here, it's responding. And now it's going to do it for me. And now I just have to wait for it. Again, it did not do it for me. I asked it to do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now
Those are
it's
those
asking me.
those agentic actions that you could take right from there.
Absolutely. But again, it asked me if it should do it. I said yes, and because I said yes, now it's going to do it. Okay. From the device page, you can see all of the great things that we have here. One interesting thing is actually the activity log. So if I look for Splashtop, all right, so Splashtop here will give me everything that we did on the Splashtop, remote connection completed, some of them are requested. Now, you can see here, generate summary. Generate summary is going to happen here when it's actually completed. So if I select one, for instance, this one, it can generate summary, of course. Let's take this one. Okay, now you can see who the technician was, how long the session was, and here you can see actually what the technician did here in that session. So what you can do here is actually select, copy, and you could just paste it. So huge gain of time. You don't have to write down each and every step that you took during that session. Here it's a minute 46, but it could be a 30-minute session. You don't have to take notes. It will summarize it. You can copy, you can paste it in a ticket. It can be also internally stored so that anybody who's taking the ticket over from you knows exactly what happened. Now, if I go here on manage, I'm sure you know that you can actually run commands or run PowerShells. But with Copilot, you can actually see here, so it's connecting, right? I do have here my screen, but here it's going to be interesting because I could just ask it, plain English, for instance, list all installed applications on the machine. Now, if I hit enter or just click generate, what it's going to do is that it's going to generate a command for me. I'll just give it a second. Here is the command. Now, as you could see, it did not run it. If I hit enter, it's going to run it, and then you'll have the results. It's going to be the same for the PowerShell. Okay. And if already we're talking about generating, so let's have a look at the scripts.
These are, I just want to point out, these are all individual time savers because as well, like you don't have to figure out a time, right? That it's okay to remote in with a end user. You're running back and forth, trying to coordinate when they're available through the chat. Of course, through command line prompts, which you guys know, you could already start taking actions and troubleshooting. That saves a lot of time as well. And then you could respond to a ticket or whatever, a call and say, I've already made some updates, let me know, right? Like huge time saving. And then for the sessions that you do remote, you now have a way of seeing that summary. Every client that I've shown that to, their eyes light up. So I imagine that's what's happening out there.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Absolutely. So here we're on the scripts page. So here we are actually on the scripts that are allowed on my instance. So these here are my scripts. And you can see here we have this column allow for Copilot. Here we have the toggle. For this one, for instance, it's on, and for this one, for instance, it's off. You actually decide. You have a script here that you allowed for your instance. You can decide to turn it on or turn it off for Copilot. Now, what does that mean? Here, you can see that you have the question mark. It will run enable scripts with Copilot. So what does that mean? Basically, it means that Copilot will be able to tell you for a specific case, for a specific device, we do have a script here that could help with the case. Would you like me to run it? So if you enable it, that's what it will offer you. Now, if I go and create a script, you can see that this toggle is also here. So you could enable it directly when you create the script. What's interesting here with Copilot, you can, okay, great. You can here write plain English, whatever you want, and it will help you generate the script. Also, something interesting, you have here some examples, right? So let's just say I take the first one here. it took exactly what it was, and now I hit generate. So it will generate here on this. Here it is. We do have our script. Now, as you could see, I did nothing but select the example. What it did, it gave the script a name. It gave the script a description. Also, max script runtime. I did not do anything. Now, obviously, those are things that you can modify. Even the script, if you don't like the way it's written, you can actually here modify your prompt, and you can modify the script. Also, another thing that you can do that's not necessarily Copilot only is that you can select here a device, you can hit run now, and so you can test your script. Here you hit create, and then you decide if you turn it on or off for Copilot.
It's great. It also, other than just keeping everything, again, your workflow in one screen from creating it to having it suggested for you, but you also could ask Copilot to run a script that you've allowed. If like for instance, run my clear cache script or run whatever it is. So again, you're still in control. You could tell it also if you wanted to use it.
Absolutely. And I think the last thing I wanted to show you today is something related to the reports. So if I enter the reports here, I want to look at my software inventory report, for instance. Okay. So here I can select the customer name, filter by whatever. I will not change anything. I will just generate the report. Okay. Here I do have this summarize button, as you can see with the AI logo. I can just click. I did not read the report. All I can see here is that 73 softwares. I understand what it's about, but I did not look into it. So now the Copilot is going to generate a summary for me. Here we go. So we do have the summary. We do have some key highlights. We do have areas for improvement, suggested steps, and the conclusion. Something that is interesting about it is that if you actually export it as a PDF, so now I'm going to just, okay, I downloaded it ahead of time, and now you can see that here's my report and my PDF. So my report actually starts with the summary. So if you have to send it to somebody inside the organization, or maybe you can even schedule send it, it will start with this with the summary, and it's a great gain of time because the people don't actually have to look really line by line into the report. They have everything that they need right here.
It's great. Again, you didn't have to export it, load it into another tool, have that analyze it, right? Then put it back in an email. You literally just hit 2 buttons.
Exactly.
And you look like a rock star.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. Amazing. Thank you, Daniel.
Sure.
So let's see what's going on in the chat. If there are any questions for Daniel, myself, let's see. Questions about MCP integration. I see Veronica's on it. Let's see in the chat. What are you thinking? What do you think of the things we've been showing you? Okay. Very cool. So with that, we went over the ROI, right? The importance of Copilot, how it could benefit your business. We saw really cool information about MCP integrations, which I see there are questions about. So definitely look into that. I'll give that feedback maybe to our team that some more information on MCP integrations. What's great is most big third-party products will have an MCP link the server that you need. So even if it's not one of the ones we've already made easily or readily available to connect, you actually could connect any that you have the MCP server for. And I think what's also really cool is, Yoni showed how great it could be where if you're adding stuff to that third party app, right? If you're adding things to a list or to a Monday board or whatever it is, I have a client that's currently testing it out with Zero for his billing. But what's also cool is you could ask it to analyze the third party tool that it's connected to, right? So if you want to know, just like how we got summary insights and everything on our reports, you could ask it to do that. You could ask Copilot for insights to analyze your to-do list, to whatever the board is or tool that you're connected to, which I think is really powerful. I tested it out with my Monday board. And it gave me some really great insights into my work. We don't have any other features tonight on the RMM side. I don't know if there was anything you guys wanted us to re-show. It could be on the ticketing side as well. We do have a couple more minutes here before I'll launch the survey. But if not, if there are no other questions, we could launch the survey and give you guys some time back in your day. Let's just see, give people a minute. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and launch the survey. We're still here. Let's see, there we go. We're still here for you guys. If you have questions or anything that you wanna know. Also, please, feel free to use the request a demo button if you're interested. Our team will get right back to you. This again is not like, once if you purchase Copilot, we will do, we would definitely do a deep training with you guys to make sure that you know all the capabilities. This was more of an overview. But yeah, we're here for you guys. Okay. Oh, here we go. How can you review agentic actions on devices? So I just want to make sure I understand. Do you mean like what actions? You just want to know ideas of the actions that could be taken, or you want to know what actions your team has taken? Okay. So definitely, for a demo, please, at the top of the screen, there's request a demo. They will definitely get to you. Historical actions. Okay, so first, I just want to clarify, Patrick. Sorry, you wrote AP, which I think is autopilot, but I don't know if you meant for Copilot. Sorry. I just want to clarify, Patrick, if you're, so it's for autopilot. So that we will have to get back to you just because, that I don't know the answer for that. But your customer success manager, they definitely have the information for you. Cool. Great. These are great questions. We love it. Any other any questions? Sorry. Cool. All right. So with that, we're giving you guys back time in your day. Thank you so much for joining part 1 and part 2, those who were able to make both. If you're able to make one, we appreciate it. And we look forward to hearing from you guys if you want to know more about Copilot. And as a reminder, the survey is open, so please just take that time to fill that in for us. We love the feedback. All right.